While the heart of Hawaii aches for the loss of Lahaina, the spirit of Maui remains unbroken. Today, we're exploring some must-see spots that prove that Maui is still a paradise within the Aloha State that you cannot miss. Let's dive in. Hey, what's happening? Hal Wilkerson here with Hawaii Property Advisors. Hope you are doing amazing. And it's been a minute since I've gone live from my home studio. Actually, it's my office studio. Actually, it's my desk right here in good old Kapolei, Hawaii. But I wanted to, I've been busy. There's no other way to say it. We've been busy. I've been so grateful to have all that we've had business-wise the last few months. And it's honestly, we've just taken some time off. I've kind of, what is it? It's September 1st today. 3 weeks ago, the state had a massive disaster that struck our sister island, Maui. And, really it kind of is unsettling in a lot of ways when you're a professional, especially when you're a real estate professional in the islands and something like this happens. There's a few phases that you go through. First is sort of like shock, like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then there's sort of like, okay, that just happened. Now what are we going to do? And then there's sort of that phase where you're like, okay, learning as much as you can about it, as well as how it sort of integrates into your business, especially when you're in a business like mine, which is real estate in Hawaii, specifically Hawaii real estate. And then, it's just a lot of people like me, we're sort of like wrestling, like, okay, well, how do we be respectful of this tragedy, yet still, carry on with our lives and still, do the things that we have to do to support our families. And so, for that reason, I've kind of pulled back and withdrawn a little bit the last few weeks, but really wanted to just say today, take this opportunity to just let you know, if you are or considering or have thought about making a trip to the Hawaiian Islands, we've got to get the message out. Hawaii is still open. Maui is still open, especially Maui is still open. And in spite of what's happened in Lahaina, I'm sure you've seen the news, you've heard the stories, you've been exposed to the tragedies, in multiple ways. But I want you to know that more importantly than that is, while yes, we honor the tragic lives lost, we honor the tragedy of the lives that were lost, and we're still mourning. We will continue to mourn. But I liken it to this. It's like Hawaii, or more specifically, Maui is sort of had an event, a cardiac event, and maybe is in the hospital. And I want you to know that when one of your loved ones goes through an event like that and they're in the hospital, you don't just forget about them and just, go on your merry way. You go visit them in the hospital. If you love them, you go see them. And if you love Hawaii, come to Hawaii. If you love Maui, come to Hawaii, come to Maui. Maui is still open. Maui is still more than ever needing tourist dollars and people to come and visit. So if you've got a favorite place, a favorite resort on the island of Maui, you know what? Book and go there for Christmas. They need it. If any time more than now, they need it for their economy. There's restaurants that are borderline, ready to shut down. There's just a lot of everything rises and falls on the economy on the tourist economy in Maui. And so I want to just encourage you, if you love Maui, if you love Hawaii, come. It's like coming to visit a loved one in the hospital. It means a lot to us. So for us to have you come visit, please come. Yeah, it's been sort of like that shell shock and that first few hours or days or weeks after this big events happened. But I want to just put that message out to you folks, that if you love Hawaii, come. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of walk through and talk through a little bit of what's going on Maui, and I'm kind of going to talk through some, some just basically some spots on Maui where you should go and you can go that are still open. So if you've been thinking about it, you can come see. And I'm going to pull up my map here. Let me get it set up. We're going to pull up the satellite. We're going to pull up good old Maui. And let me share my screen here, get that there. And then, sorry, bear with me for a second here. Sorry, should have been more prepared for this. Okay, present and share screen. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is, as we like to call it, the Maui man. And, the Maui man, you've got his head. This is the back of his head. That's his chin. Laniopoko is kind of his eyes. His nose is kind of Olowalu there. And then you've got kind of the big valley. Maui is called the Valley Isle. You've got Haleakala up here, the House of the Sun. Hale is house. Akala is another word, is a Hawaiian word for sun. But it's still open. The airport's right over here in Kahului. OGG, named after Hogg, Hogg, which was a famous, I think he was a pilot back in the 50s. That's why it's OGG, in case you never knew. But Lahaina, God rest her, is over here. And in fact, we're going to just show you the Lahaina fire, see if it pulls it up. No, it's not. It's not. You know what? It's not going to do it. But basically, this whole area right through here, this is where is affected by actually pretty much by this bypass. This is actually the Lahaina bypass. They built the bypass in maybe, I don't know, what is it, 23, maybe 10 years ago, I think is when they finished it. And because Lahaina has just grown and grown and grown. Up north, up here, this is Kaanapali. I just texted my good friend Eric West. In fact, it's amazing. I've got a friend who is a YouTuber, and I've known Eric since before I started in the real estate business. I met him when I was over in Kaanapali, and he's actually turned into somewhat of an internet celebrity on YouTube over there now. It's been cool. In fact, I was just texting him before I started this video because I wanted to just make sure. But it's Eric was just telling me that he was just telling me that Kaanapali, there are resorts that are still open in Kaanapali. And so, I mean, a couple of things, if you're thinking about, or if you've been thinking about taking a trip to the islands, Kaanapali is probably, in my opinion, and in fact, I always say this, I've said this in a lot of previous videos. What people ask me when I live in Hawaii, where do I go on vacation? I go to West Maui. I go to Kaanapali. In my opinion, there's no better place in the islands than Lahaina and West Maui. And so Kaanapali is sort of like, if you're familiar with Oahu, Kaanapali is sort of like the Ko'olina of Maui. It's a lot more developed than Ko'olina, I will say that. But it's west facing. It's got a lot of golf courses. It's got these beautiful, beautiful beaches right here. It's got all these just amazing resorts. You got the Sheraton, you got the Outrigger, you've got the Hyatt down here, you've got the Marriott, the Westin, the Kaanapali Ali'i. There's just tons and tons of beautiful resorts, and they're open. They're all open. Now, I will tell you, the Marriott, one of the Marriotts, I think there's the Marriott Timeshare, and then there's also the Marriott Hotel. It is actually being rented out right now by some of the support efforts. And but other than that, they're open. So just come. Kaanapali, though, is my favorite. I absolutely love it. And you can get there. All you got to do is fly into OGG, fly in here to the airport, and you've got the Costco right here. Stop and grab your rental car, get your Costco run, and then you just cruise down here. You come around the corner past the Maui Ocean Center, which is right up here somewhere, and then you just cruise around and you drive this here. You've got these big, giant windmills up here, which is always a cool thing to see. Drive along the coast. It's just incredibly beautiful. And what I love about it, and I've shared this before, is right here in Kaanapali and Lahaina, when you're looking west, you see the on the right, you've got Molokai, and on the left, you've got Lanai. And, and then whenever the sun sets, depending on what time of the year, a lot of times it'll set like right in front of it. It's just incredible. In fact, let me see if I can get a little view from right here. Let's see what we've got here. There it is. Yeah. So see how cool that is? Like, it's right along the beach. It's just amazing. But over there is Molokai. And of course, there's the placid, amazing Pacific Ocean that's right there. And then over on the left is Lanai, owned by Larry Ellison of Oracle fame. But, this is this is the Westin, actually. Yeah, this is the Westin. So, if you've got Westin points, if you got Marriott points, use them. If you got a bunch of frequent flyer miles, come on out to Maui and support it. Again, it's like supporting a loved one in the hospital right now. But let's just kind of review it. So a couple things. So the road to Hana is probably one of the most famous things that people have heard of. And the road to Hana comes this way. We got Mama's Fish House up here. If you go east from Kahului, along the way, Mama's Fish House is right there on the left. And then you just cruise along along here. And this is the road to Hana. And quite honestly, in my opinion, it's not necessarily about the destination, although Hana is amazing. It's east facing. So there's some magical, amazing sunrises over there. But it's this trip along this road where they've got waterfalls after waterfalls after waterfalls. They've got, it's just winding in and winding out. And it's a long road, but it's winding, but you're just going through this jungle foliage, and it's just absolutely magical. And all along the way, you'll see cars parked like this, and there's these small little one-lane bridges. And then up there is going to be, you can't see it from here, but there's waterfalls and these hikes. There's just, I don't want to say an unlimited amount, but there are just tons and tons of these waterfalls. And so that's the road to Hana. Again, this is open. It's open, come rent a car, drive around Maui, check it out, enjoy the sun, enjoy the sand, enjoy the sea. The temperature is always perfect in Maui. It's always perfect in Hawaii, but it's always amazing. There you go. You can see some lookouts of the ocean facing north there. But it's incredible. So that's the road to Hana, probably one of the most famous things to see in Maui, and it's open. All right. Next up, Haleakala. Haleakala is an amazing experience to go to watch the sunrise. I've done it many times with my family, and it is just incredible. Oops, that's not it. Oh, look at that. Wow, Waimoku Falls. I didn't even expect that. I thought we were up at the top of Haleakala. I didn't even know I've never been here before. I've flown by something similar to this over in Kauai, but I thought this was going to be Haleakala. Oh, what happened here? Somehow it got over there. But anyway, yeah, that might be over here on the southern part of the road to Hana. You can actually drive all the way around this. They've got all these signs that say rental cars shouldn't drive around it, but if you've got a Jeep, you're fine. And even if you have just a truck, you're fine. But they make you sign all this stuff to not go up. But anyway, don't let me get distracted. I want to see, where is the Haleakala? There's got to be some pictures of Haleakala up here. Oh, there we go. Maybe this is it here. Yeah, here we go. So now it does obviously look like a barren moonscape up here. But the cool thing about Haleakala when you come up here is you can actually watch the sunrise in the morning. And it's one of the things, it's a thing to do on Maui. And it's incredible. You leave your hotel room at 3 a.m. or something like that, and you want to drive up here. Now they have tours where you can, and I don't know if they still have these tours or not, but but they had these tours before where you could actually ride your bike down. So they'll drive you up, you watch the sunset, and then you ride a bike back down Haleakala, and it's amazing. And it's really a cool experience. I've done it once, and it's pretty cool. Let's see here. I got to get a little, bear with me for a second here. So that was the top of it, but this is the road, and you'll see Nene up there. And then what's cool is a lot of times it'll look like this. It's like you're above the weather. You know, it's like you're literally like you're in the clouds, and so it's just incredible. You know, it's just incredible. And I did this in 2020. My sister, my brother-in-law, and a couple of their daughters came out. My nieces came out. My wife and I and Aria, my youngest, were there. And we drove up and watched the sunrise, and it's just absolutely magical. It's just incredible. I mean, you're literally on the top of a volcano. You know, it's Haleakala. That's this giant cauldron right here. And something that's very cool about this cauldron, by the way, when you're standing up on the edge of it, like up on this precipice right here, and you're looking down, like down here, and there's certain like lookouts. This is actually, you can actually fit Manhattan Island would fit inside of this cauldron. I mean, it's just stunning when you look at it, because it's such a massive, massive cauldron, but it's dormant. It's not, Haleakala is no longer active, but it's massive. You can still see that cauldron, and it's just absolutely, absolutely incredible. And so that's Haleakala. Let's see what else. You know what? Vaianapanapa State Park. I don't know that one as well. Let's see though. It's got black sands from what I understand. Okay. It's a black sand beach over here. And this is again on the road to Hana. Okay. But it's open. You know, it's open. It's here. There's campgrounds. It's a campground over there. Cool. Okay. So that's open. I've never, you know what? I may have actually stopped by there now that I think about it. When I first came to Hawaii in 2007, I spent 2 weeks on Maui, just bumming around as a military member on. Actually, no, I didn't. We didn't go to this. I didn't go that far. Bumming around on Maui. I was here on house hunting leave during that time, and oh my gosh, what an amazing thing! How cool is this? Let me tell you a quick story. I was on my way here. I was leaving Japan. I used to be stationed in Japan, and I actually was meeting a good friend of mine in Northern California in San Francisco. And we actually decided we were going to do a road trip up to the Redwood Forest. We were just going to kind of see San Francisco. I mean, gosh, this was, man, how many years? 16, 17 years ago now. And we were in like this place in oh my gosh, I can't remember, but it was basically near where the redwoods were. We met these 4 biker guys. Bob, my boy Bob, if you're watching this, buddy, you may remember this because Bob and then his 3 friends were motorcycle guys. And you know, it was the summer. I think it was like early summer. I think it was right after Sturgis. And these guys had spent some time at Sturgis, and they were on their way back, and they had stopped in the Redwood Forest, and it just happened to be we were at the same hotel. And I don't know, it's like a tiny little motel in the middle of the Redwood Forest, and these 4 bikers come up, and we start chatting with them, and before you know it, they're like, yeah, we're going to go, have a drink at this, the little watering hole around the corner and down the street or whatever. And so we walked down there with these guys, and me and Bob, we started playing pool. And I tell you, I am not a pool player, but that night something was in the air, and I was just running that pool table like I've never, best pool I've ever played in my life. And of course I'm playing, with these 4 biker guys. Well, turns out Bob, who's, I'm not going to use his last name, but Bob was an executive with PG&E and Pacific Gas and Electric. And he actually had a timeshare in, of all places, Kapalua, which is north of Kaanapali. And, we spent that evening together. Just, the drinks were flowing. The conversation was good. It was just a great time, a great experience. And Bob told me, and I had just come back from Japan. So, I was forward deployed in the Navy in Japan. Did that for 3 years, and I just come off of that. And so it was kind of my shore tour. That's actually how I got to Hawaii, was via the U.S. Navy. So I was on my way to the shore tour. I used to fly. I was a navigator. I flew jets as a naval flight officer. And so, he and I just had a great conversation. We're talking about all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the night, he's like, Hal, listen. He's like, you're going to be in Hawaii in 2 weeks, whatever it was. I don't remember. You're going to be in Hawaii in a week. He's like, we got a timeshare. My wife and I are not going to use that timeshare. I want you to use it. And I was like, where is it, Bob? He's like, it's on Maui. And I was like, well, I'm going to Oahu. He's like, I don't care. You're going to Maui and you're going to spend a week in my condo. And I'm like, all right, Bob, you say so. And I just thought, that must be the Miller Lite talking or something, or whatever it was that we were drinking. And, but the next morning, I kid you not, Bob knocks on the door of our hotel or motel. I mean, it was like a drive-up motel room, like econo lodge kind of thing. Knocks on the door, says, hey, I just got off the phone with my wife. Here's all the details for the condo. Talk to this guy, check in on this day. You're going to be there all week. The place is yours. And I'm like, Bob, you got to be kidding me. But he's like, nope, that's it. And so Bob and I have been friends ever since. And it was really cool. But anyway, that's how I was introduced to Maui. And so where it actually was up here in Kapalua, right next to this little airport. So this is the Kapalua airport. And I don't remember exactly which one it was. But I kid you not, never in a million years would I expected to have what I had. I think it might have been like this one right here. And so let me see if they have. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if I don't think it was the Polynesian shores, but I am not joking when I tell you it was like this unit, except it was even more private. Like it was facing directly. Oh, you're not even seeing it. Sorry. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. It was like this. So here, let me back out here. So it was here in Kapalua. And so it was in Kapalua, which is in West Valley, north of Kaanapali. And there's in fact, I even flew into Kapalua because this is where I was going. So I was on this little tiny puddle jumper, which was so cool. And let's see, where was it? It was like a little, you know what? It might have been like one of these. Yeah, I think it might have been. Oh, yeah, I think this is where it was. It was like, I think it was like right here. Yeah. I think maybe. Yeah, I think it was like one of these. I think it was one of these. But literally, I mean, look at that. I opened my door, and here was, this was like ocean front. And this was my introduction to Maui. And this was in Kapalua. It was the most amazing thing. It was a gift from Bob, the PG&E executive by day, biker by night, who had just coming back from Sturgis with his friends, loved Maui, told me how amazing Hawaii was, told me how amazing Maui was. And so this is my introduction. I barely knew what all the islands were at that point, probably actually didn't. And I was able to get this for a week by the grace of God. And this is where I said, so this was like my first introduction to Maui. And so that was like my first introduction to like actual vacationing in Hawaii, real vacationing in Hawaii as a gift from my friend Bob, north of Kaanapali. And ever since then, I've just been absolutely in love with the island of Maui. And so anyway, I guess, I don't know, I've kind of ripped a little too much on that one maybe, but that was how I came to know Kaanapali, how I came to know Lahaina, and it's just, I fell in love with it. So, okay, let's keep on going. We've talked about Haleakala. We've talked about the Black Sand Beach. You know, Eo Valley is another one, but I don't know if Eo Valley is still open to the public. It had some, so this is the Needle. It's called the Needle, the Needles, and Eo Valley. It's right here, and it's kind of, let's see. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, yeah, it's up here. Oh yeah, kids used to jump off this when the water's flowing, but you know what? I think it actually fell. I think that's, if I remember correctly, I think that's what happened is, I believe, and I could be wrong, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe that during an earthquake that we had like in 2010 or something like that, they fell, I think. Hold on just a second. Oh, it has reopened, so that's good. Let's see here. But that's the Needle right there. Scenic, yeah, an original feature which abruptly rises 1,200 feet from the valley floor. Learn about the plans. Yeah, so for some reason I was thinking there was something wrong with it. I know that it had it was closed for a while. There's slope stabilization after heavy rains in September 26 damaged the parking lot and walkway. Okay, so they had, I guess they had some erosion. But there you go. You can see the Needle. It's 1,200 foot tall Needle, and it's again, it's an amazing thing. So that's something that's very cool to visit. Again, still open. All right. Let's see. Also, another great spot that, let's see here, that I have seen and flown over many times, but never actually been to. But from what I understand, it's an amazing visit, and it's the Molokini Crater. It's just off the coast here. You got to go south. You can actually see it whenever you're round in the corner over here. You're looking out at Kaho'olawe. By the way, this is Kaho'olawe. There's a really interesting story about that. But Molokini Crater is this little crescent shaped, former cauldron right here. Again, still open. Okay, there's still boats that are going. It's not closed. It's not been affected by the Lahaina fires. Okay, so it's from what I understand, it's an amazing sea life. There you can see, actually, look at, I missed it. There you can see, here we go. Yeah, people are swimming around, snorkeling inside. It's kind of a protected because of its shape, but they've got a lot of beautiful sea life and things of that nature. It's just a really cool, underwater excursion. If you like to scuba dive or if you like to snorkel, they've got tons of stuff there. So Molokini Crater. All right. So I've talked about some of the big stuff on Maui. The Maui Ocean Center is another cool little spot. So, which is actually not far from Molokini. In fact, I think that's where they leave. Yeah, they leave out of this little the Molokini Adventures. Yeah, there you go. Molokini Maui Snorkel Tour. All that stuff. They leave from right here by the Maui Ocean Center. The Maui Ocean Center is kind of like an aquarium. It's a great spot to take the kids to learn about the sea life and all that good stuff. So again, a pretty cool little spot there. Let's see what we got inside here. Oh, check that out. Yeah, they got like this. I haven't actually been inside of it myself, but this is like a 360 view. Look at that. And they've got this walkway through there with a, like a plexiglass walk through there like they do at SeaWorld. So, but of course you can't forget also they've got things like whale watching. They've got zip lining. There's all the water sports, surfing, paddleboarding, kayaking, windsurfing. There's some amazing windsurfing. If you've ever wanted to hydrofoil, there's plenty of spots to hydrofoil over there. Kite surfing is huge right over in this area. Actually, pretty much all along here. But these salt flats are sort of like, it's like kind of like right, yeah, it's like right here. And again, I'm not going to make like yeah, there you go, Kite Beach, Maui. Yeah, it's right in this area, and I'm not going to make like I'm a kite boarder because I'm not. but I know that if you want to do it, this is one of the most amazing places in the world to do it, from what I understand. The winds are just like steady as a rock. You know, those trade winds are just constantly blowing in right there, and it just makes for an amazing spot. So, and you know, and then of course you've got the spas, you've got the Grand Wailea, you know, you've got over here in Kihei, you know, down here, you know, you've got the the Grand Wailea, you've got the let's see what else is down here. The Fairmont is a huge one. The Fairmont Kealani right there. The Wailea McKenna. You've got the golf course there. McKenna Beach. If you like to nude it up a little bit, they got a nude beach down here. McKenna Cove, if that's your jam. But they've got Little Beach. You know, they've got everything, and it's all open. Obviously, there's fine dining. You know what? One of my favorite spots to eat is up in Kapalua, and it is the oh boy, what is it called? Hold on a second. It's where I heard this. Oh yeah, Sensei's is good. Sensei is amazing. That's an amazing sushi joint. Really good. Very popular there. But what was the name of the restaurants? Not the Napili Shores. Oh man, Merriman's. There it is, Merriman's. So I ate at dinner at Merriman's one time, and I had this is where I learned the one of my favorite things about whenever I go to eat at a restaurant. One of the things I love to do at a restaurant is I absolutely love to let the waiter or waitress or chef bring me something that's good. And you know, I started doing that. I don't know. Actually, I think when I did it is in Japan. I used to live in Japan, and you know, you can't read the menu in Japan. But you know, if you're culinarily adventurous, whatever the word may be, you know, it's amazing the things that you can learn. And you know, I have tasted and enjoyed some of the most amazing meals that I never in a million years would have chosen, because I just said, hey, bring me something good. And it was right here at Merriman's with JP. In fact, I think it's still on my Yelp reviews. JP was our waiter, and I told that to JP, and JP, he picked up my menu and he looked at me and he said, "Menus are for peasants. Allow me." And he walked off to the kitchen, and he came back and he brought us like 3 or 4 courses that were just absolutely amazing. I don't even remember. I think butterfish, that was like the first place I ever tried butterfish in Hawaii, which is amazing. But you know, it's just like you learn and you experience things that you never would have experienced before if you just give that to your waiter or waitress and just say, bring me something good, because they know what's good. And as long as you're adventurous, you're going to get something good. They're not going to bring you no junk. They're going to bring you something good. And so that was where I found out about that was at Merriman's right there in Kapalua. So they've got actually up here, they've got the Four Seasons, I think. Yeah, they've got the Four Seasons up here. Obviously the Plantation Course, which is a PGA. That's where they have the PGA tournament. They've got the Ritz-Carlton here as well. Looks like I think the Ritz might be actually being used currently for the some of the workers. Pineapple Hill is another. I think that's a subdivision right there. But it's just, you know, Kapalua is amazing. Oh, over here I think is where they have. Oh, maybe it's over here. They've got one of those mazes, which is really cool. Me and my wife went over there. We were there in September of 2020, actually, right before they got really crazy about stuff for inter-island travel. We took our little baby moon, and but Kapalua is amazing. I mean, look at all these houses. This is like, as we say in Hawaii, high maka maka. Like this is where the big money is. I mean, these are, you know, $3 million and up condos around here in this little neighborhood. So But again, Ritz-Carlton, I think the Four Seasons is up here as well. Actually, the Ritz-Carlton is pretty cool. I've actually stayed at the Ritz-Carlton right here. It's a beautiful spot. It's a really nice spot. But anyway, it's just amazing. The island of Maui, needs tourist dollars. And I want to just encourage you, if you've been thinking about changing your plans and not coming to Hawaii, don't. If there was ever any time when we need visitors to come to Hawaii, it's now, and especially Maui. And so I wanted to just take this 35 minutes or so, just kind of walk through my love for Maui, my thoughts on Maui, and just let you know, and a reminder, coming to Hawaii right now is needed. It's like visiting a loved one in the hospital. If you love somebody, if they're a good friend, if they're family, and you love them, you go see them in the hospital. Maui's a little hurt right now with Lahaina. They got a little bit of a wound. Lahaina Front Street is burned. There's no other way to say it. And it's going to be that way for years, okay? But Hawaii is still here. And so we just want to get that message out. Come to Maui. Come to Hawaii. It's still here. It's still amazing. And we would love to have you. Anyway, that's all I got. My name is Hal Wilkerson. I hope you've enjoyed this content. If you've watched it thus far, give me a like, give me a comment below, and especially a subscription, because I need those subscribers. I don't know if I necessarily need them, but I guess that's what we're supposed to do. So, but hey, take care. God bless. Aloha from Hawaii. And take care.